Hello, welcome back for another video in this series of healing from narcissistic abuse. This is part 3. There's already part 1 and 2. So if you haven't seen that, you definitely need to go and check it out. But today we're going to be talking about a very powerful tool that you can use to help you with these relationships called detachment, okay? So I know, having a dad that had narcissistic, I like to say narcissistic qualities, because sometimes he wasn't fully narcissistic, and I have relatives and lots of people in my life that can be more extreme on the narcissistic scale. And something that's really helped me and my clients is actually detachment. Okay. So basically, let's look at your narcissistic abuser just logically for a second, okay? So if you see them as a grown-up child in an adult body, who, when they are dysregulated, so when they feel stress or shame or they're feeling bad, negative feelings, what they do is they try and regulate their emotions by taking other people's energy. So they might shame or abuse or lash out at you in order to calm themselves down. And if you have found yourself in a pattern with them where you sort of chase and you're making them feel better, then you are probably somebody that doesn't attack others, you attack yourself, and then that person attacks you too. So what we want you to realize, first of all, is this pattern that you've been in with this person, whether it be a relative, a parent, or often we have parents that are narcissistic, and then we will attract other relationships that are too, because it's just very normal for us. And we don't realize that actually it's unhealthy because it's just, it's the way we were raised. So if we think about logically, this person is just like a grown-up child, and where you may, when you get triggered and feel sad or shame or whatever, you beat yourself up, you talk to yourself badly in your mind, you may take care of everybody else, you may overdo, you may overachieve in order to feel better and feel like you're not this awful human. Well, this person just lashes out. That's what they do. And they also have to be right. They also have to be, their reality is the right reality, not yours. So it's very hard to live in harmony with someone that you have a completely different reality. And what can happen is these abusive relationships, they are so strong in what their reality is, and they want you to believe it. So they want you to shame you and to make you feel bad. So you believe their reality is part of their power and part of them getting their energy so they can feel good enough and not feel their shame. They need to know that you're wrong so that they don't feel wrong. Okay, and often we are in drama triangles with them. So drama triangles have 3 points. I do have a podcast on this, so I'll link it below as well. Persecutor, which is often the narcissist. Then we have the rescuer and the victim. So you might find yourself in the victim role sometimes, or if you've got like a family member or a sibling, or there might be somebody else that you're rescuing and somebody else is the victim. That's these relationships, these narcissistic abuses relationships take so much energy, not just because of the way that we're treated by these people, but also how much we think about them and how much we obsess about it and how much we worry about it, how much we get anxious about it. Now, we all have a certain amount of life force energy. I love to get my clients to just feel the life force energy. And what happens when we're in abusive relationships is we're giving away that life force energy, and then we have very little to none, or we are a deficit of life force energy for ourselves. And that's because they've got it all. They've got it all when you're, putting up with their drama, or you're overthinking about them and they're not even there. And that's why I love detachment, okay? Because that means you don't have to feel anything, and you can just look at them with love and compassion, okay? I want you to see them as a wounded child and imagine yourself and your energy getting bigger. So at the moment, when you're around a narcissistic person, your inner child is feeling very small, very unsafe, and very, very young because of what you've been through as a child, right? So when you get into other relationships, that is triggered. That's what you're going through, okay? So what we want you to do is expand your energy and your body and be the big, powerful adult. Expand your energy, even in your imagination, and imagine them as a child. Now, imagine that child saying, oh, I didn't feel like you cared about me when you did that. Oh, I feel, or when they shame you and say, I thought that you were being really arrogant when you did that, or whatever the harmful comment is. Just see it as coming out of a child's mouth. And actually, it's not like a grown up. Okay. And detachment, you don't have to feel angry or sad or shame that they're trying to project on you. Be like, oh, that person is, narcissists are narcissists because they've been abused too. They are traumatized as well. And that's the same as it is for us, that those of us that have been in relationships with them, someone abused us, so we think it's okay. Someone abused them, so they think that the way they are is okay. The difference, I guess, is that they don't want to change and you do. So you can become really detached to their power. And remember as well, like I always like to see the world as perspective, right? And you are now looking at the world through a set of eyes, which you have had certain traumas in your life, you've had certain experiences. So you might see somebody when they're being very silent as, oh, they're angry at me, because that's what you saw as a child. That's the pictures that you've seen in your mind. So now when you see someone just be a little bit quiet, you give it the meaning of, oh, it's because they're angry with me. But actually, they could just be tired from work and it's actually nothing to do with you, right? And that's how we see the world, through our eyes. The narcissist sees the world through their traumatized eyes as well. So when you are doing whatever it is that you're doing, they are interpreting that as, arrogance or shame, or like they're upset with you, or anger, or whatever it is. But you don't have to see the world in that same way. You can just accept that you see things differently to them, and that has got nothing to do with you. And also, there is no amount that you could say or give, or any energy that you could drain out of your body to make them see differently. And they kind of know how to press buttons, because they know how to like love bomb you and give you all of the things that you didn't have when you were growing up. So when you detach from them, they don't like it and they want to like bring you back in. But detachment is great for you to go, if it's a parent or whatever, it's just to kind of go, okay, whatever they say or think or feel, it's because they're looking at the world and at me and at my behavior through their traumatized lens. And I don't agree with that. That's not about me. That's about whatever happened to them as a kid. That's got nothing to do with me. Like my dad, I know I have been healing him since he died, because he died of suicide about 16 years ago. And he used to say such cruel things. Like he was so critical and so nasty and so explosive in his temper and so unsafe. So when he used to say, you're stupid, or you're ugly, or you're this horrible human being, as a child, I really believed him, because he was my dad. And I was like, why would he be just saying that? Like, it must be me, right? But now I see that my dad was looking at the world through his traumatized eyes, and he was actually exhausted from probably self-hating so much more than anything. And his temper, his nervous system, everything was like just burnt out and shot. And he was just exploding on anything that he saw. And it's not even what he felt or what he meant or anything. And, if I was to ever pull it up with him, my dad was somebody who used to actually say sorry, which is not like loads of narcissists, but he would never change. He would never change his behavior, because it never was about me. And no matter what I did to perform, to be good, to be bad, whatever, he wouldn't change, because that was his lens. And the greatest freedom that I've given myself over the years is to detach from those words that he said, the way that he would act. And, he's gone, but there's been other people in my family and groups around me where I've had to distance myself from those relationships, because they felt abusive, they didn't feel nurturing, and they didn't feel good. And they didn't like it when I did that. but that was me detaching and giving myself what I needed, even if other people didn't understand, even if other people thought I was being selfish. It doesn't matter. Again, everybody's entitled to their perspective, their way of looking at things. So if people think you're bad, or they're not happy with your decision, it's fine. Again, detachment. Detachment is somebody else is entitled to their sadness, to their anger, to their annoyance with you. It's absolutely fine. It's got nothing to do with you. And if it keeps you safe and it makes you feel good, well, not feel good, but it helps you to have that distance, and that's something that you should do. I found the more and more that I detach, so that's, for example, I've received like aggressive messages from people, and in the old days, that would really stress me out and I wouldn't be able to sleep, and I'd be really abusive to myself. I might numb with food or something. And what I've done over the years is gone, okay, I've got that message. It feels like a tightness in my chest, maybe feels like I've been punched in my gut, and it's reminding me of this situation when I was young. So then I will speak to my younger self who has that memory, and I'll be like, hey, sweetheart, might use a bit of somatic touch and be like, I know that feels like dad or that feels like mum, but I just want to let you know that you're really, really safe, and it's not the same situation. You're not a child, you're not alone, everything's okay. So we speak to our younger parts and we let them know that they're okay. And I would then do a nervous system tool or a somatic practice to soothe my nervous system. I love tapping. I do have some tapping videos. I talk a lot about nervous system practices. I've got loads of content in my podcast, Heart's Happiness. You can check out nervous system hacks and all kinds of stuff. So I will soothe my nervous system so it knows it's okay, even if somebody else is angry with me. So even if somebody else is angry with me or has sent me an abusive message, I can soothe my inner child, soothe my younger self, calm myself down. And then when I am fully in my brain, because when we're triggered, it's like our brain's kind of hijacked. So when I'm fully in my brain, I can be like, okay, how do I want to deal with the situation? So do I want to say something now? Do I want to say something in a day? Do I want to block them? What is it that I need to do? So again, it's detachment. So for example, I just put that person on mute for a while. And then later I was like, messages, I'm sorry that you're going through a hard time. And messages like that are hard for me to receive. So sometimes I will have to mute you or block you if that's the case. But I'm really sorry that you're going through a hard time, but it's just not okay to speak to me like that. So, I would say it with love, and set a boundary, or I might choose not to say anything because I'm like, oh, that's just about them. I don't need to worry. I'll just take care of myself. I'll be the mum I need. I'll be the dad I need. So with detachment as well, you're no longer, and guys, you've got to do this if the narcissists are still in your life, or, I hear of people having relationships with their narcissistic parents. Of course, I get that, but you've got to accept that you're not going to get what you want out of that relationship. And if you're staying in the relationship because they're your parent, whatever, just make sure that you are having time before you see them, after you see them, that takes really good care of you. Really lean into why you feel like you want to have this relationship. Like if it feels like something that you have to do, is that supportive to you when you're in a child? You might need to do more inner child work around the times that you see them. And you might need to have really boundary time with them. But I do find the more you can be detached, the more that you slow down your reactions and you just witness them, almost like on a TV screen. Like, oh my God, they're really losing their temper right now. Oh, wow, they're really, that's really interesting. I remember with a family member, they got very angry and I just kind of witnessed it all. And then they got angry and angry and angry. And then they sort of tired themselves out. So then I was able to just say what I truly believed. And it was fine. She actually received it. So you want to be able to start to realize that you have the power over your emotional state and managing your state within your body. So rather than it taking over, then you become this panic victim child, because you are not a panic victim child. And you are so much stronger than they are because you have this awareness and you're watching this video. And you can detach from them. They can be on the screen. You can watch it for what it is, anger, hate, dysregulation, whatever. And you can use your tools to regulate your own emotions, to feel safe, to feel calm. So you are not looking for something out of that relationship. You've got to kind of make your peace with the fact that you are not going to get anything from that relationship, really. You've just got to make your peace with it. If you want to have them in your life, you got to just be like, you get everything within yourself. You get the wholeness within you, the love, the care, and really building your relationship with yourself. And my program, Heal Your Inner Child, I share all of the different modalities, the things that you need to do. We have monthly calls, we have a community group. And you're always welcome to come to that to get your support that you need, because you have to realize, I'm not going to get it here. And then you have to realize, how much energy do I want to put in this relationship? What am I getting out of it? So if it's because it's my parent, okay, do I just want to see my parent? Like, just, is that what it is? Okay, how often should I see them? Every 3 months? Every 4 months? Every 2 months? And really feel into, and how do I feel afterwards? Is it worth it for me? Am I getting something out of it? You being calmer while they're being dysregulated is going to be interesting for them, because they don't have that same, dance they've had with you for so long, and they're probably not going to love that. But detachment is so powerful because it means that other people can do things that you are like, in the past, that would really upset me, but you actually feel absolutely fine. And it gives you such power. And the more and more your nervous system gets used to you soothing yourself, like between those interactions or whatever happens, it won't get so activated by them. And then you probably find that you can have a relationship that's more at a distance. Now, there are some of you that are listening to this that are trying really hard to keep that relationship, but it is so damaging for you. And it is, and that person that you were trying to even detach from doesn't take that very well. And they're very used to you being a place where they sort of take their stuff out on. And what we want you to do is just to go, I'm worth more than that. Like, by the way, mum, dad, brother, wife, husband, whoever it is, they don't deserve to take their stuff out on you. You are not somebody that it's okay to attack when we are tired or hungry. Like, it's not okay for you to be abused. It's not okay for you to be the victim. And it can feel quite scary and unsafe to leave these relationships or to distance ourselves from them. But it is the greatest act of self-care, because your inner child, your younger self, your body has to keep going through that with them. And if you can sort of disable it and have this detached relationship and you feel fine in it, great. But if you find that even just being in the same area as them sort of makes you hold your breath, and that you just cannot relax, and actually no amount of tapping and nervous system regulation is getting you through that, I would really trust your body. I would really listen to your body, and your body will tell you if it's too much. So you may have to distance yourself and have a boundary. And again, when you feel guilt and shame for setting that boundary and putting yourself first, you can use the nervous system regulation, the somatic practices to soothe your system. So it's like, it's safe for me to choose me. It's safe for me to put myself first. It's safe for me to disappoint others and to prioritize my own well-being. When we've been like people pleasers, codependents, this feels really unsafe for us to go, actually, I don't want to be treated like that anymore. I don't want to. And I'm going to walk away. That's what I'm going to do, because I deserve better than this. We don't love to do that. We don't, because it feels scary and it feels unsafe and it doesn't feel safe within the body. So again, we have to speak to our heart, we have to speak to our body, we have to let it know that it's okay for us to do these things. It's okay for us to choose a different path and put ourselves first. Because really, for us to truly heal, some of those relationships are just not going to be good for us, and they're not going to accept us changing. Some of them do, and some of them, they've accepted the difference. And some of them, your body will just be like, no. Some of the body will be like, okay, I'd still like to try. I'd really listen to your body, actually, and really follow its guidance. And if it's having a real panic or whatever, trust it. That's so important. Really, really important as well. And just detachment is just you honoring your nervous system. You understand. And remember, they're entitled to whatever their perspective is. You are safe if they are disappointed in you, if they are angry with you, if they think you're a really bad person, if they don't love you. In all of those instances, you are safe because you can be there for your body and for your nervous system and for your younger self. You don't need to get anything from these relationships anymore. And you can accept that there's nothing there to receive, really. And we can sometimes go through a grieving process about these relationships. We can sometimes feel like sadness, anger, and again, using tools to be able to release those emotions, like anger, push a wall, anger, scream, anger, punch a pillow. Don't suppress it, because when we push down anger, especially women, we make ourselves ill. We create autoimmunity, inflammation in the body, all because we're not like getting that anger out of our system. So really allowing yourself to discharge the anger, really connecting to what your feelings are, and not making it about the other person, but making it about you. Then they can have whatever reality they have, and you're fine with it. They're entitled to their reality. It's not none of your business. But it's very hard to create a life and relationships with somebody where your realities are different. And that's what it comes down to. So, but it will take you some time to decide what you're going to do about that relationship, whether it's going to be a boundary, whether it's going to be a cutoff, whether it's going to be, a combination. Only you can figure it out. But I can't tell you the amount of power you can feel when you are so unaffected by the narcissist and like what they do. Like you just don't even give a shit. They're playing some games of like chasing and all of these things, and you don't even care. Like you don't care if they're there, if they're not, if they give you a crumb of love. You do not care. Like it's so freeing to know that you don't care and that they're playing all these weird games so they feel like they're loved by you, but you don't care. You're just not playing the game with them. You're not playing in the drama triangle with them anymore. And it's such a wonderful feeling. And that when feelings come up like shame or because they will, because you'll feel bad that you've changed the pattern or whatever, you can just be there for yourself. It's freaking so magical. So detachment, my God, loves, okay? And it can feel a little bit unsafe to detach and change relationships and have boundaries. And that's why having a supportive community is so important. Because if our families have just got loads of narcissists, loads of traumatized people in it, they're not really going to understand when you decide to do different things. I know my family's not really always understood when I've chosen my own well-being and my own happiness over just pleasing the narcissist. Like they haven't been happy about that. But I just go, I'm my most important thing. I've got to be there for myself. I've got to be there for me. And I just work through the discomfort of upsetting other people using tools and different practices and having communities where you can go, am I crazy? And they're like, no, you're not crazy. That's really helpful because that soothes and co-regulates your nervous system. So that's what we have in our Heal Your Inner Child program, which you can come into, and we have like a Telegram community. So it's like a messaging app thing for the weekdays, and we have monthly calls, and you have a bunch of people that are breaking these patterns. So sometimes their families and their friends, etc., don't understand, but it doesn't matter because you have your support and you have your little tribe. So it doesn't matter if they don't get it, because to choose your well-being, your peace, your safety, you can't take everybody with you. So I hope you found this helpful. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all the things, hit the bell and all of that. And I'll see you in the next video.